So in our last episode, we talked about Chelsea Flower Show, which led to the Blushing Princess, which we had a really wonderful story of that particular peony that Billy presented to the Queen. So tell us a bit more about this particular peony, Heath.
As I alluded to in the last episode, a Blushing Princess is a herbaceous peony. It gets to about 80 centimetres tall. It is a very romantic, light blushing is the best word to describe it, pink. It's a double, very, very sort of frilly, really nice big head on it. It's got a nice scent to it. One of the few peonies that's got a fairly strong scent, and it's just a beautiful, rare thing that deserves a very special place, and ideally, and I would put it in a romantic garden. I don't think it's something you'd want to put in an ultra contemporary garden or something like that. It needs to be almost in a cottage setting, I would say.
And as well as the palace.
Well, that too. But anybody can be a queen with this Blushing Princess.
Or a peony girl.
Or a peony girl, yes, indeed.
When I saw that peony 2 years ago, when Billy presented to the Queen, I just found it was so different. It stood out. The petal wasn't pink in terms of hot pink that you see everywhere, or too pale. It's just right, blushing pink, and it has kind of porcelain feel to it on the petal as well. And to me, it's kind of a challenge when I paint, because there are many different pink peonies there. And for example, back in June, we talked about the tree peony, the Japanese tree peony Shonjuku, which is a beautiful pink peonies, but the petal has a lot of fold, or not wrinkled, but you see lines, making it very interesting with that tree peony. But with the Blushing Princess, it feels like a young girl's skin, so pure, so smooth and porcelain-like. And I want to, when I paint it, I'm still in the process of finishing that painting. I want to make sure the painting gives that smooth touch, as if people can really see through the petal, but also you can touch it, and also very delicate and elegant to that peony.
To my eye, and I might be slightly wrong, but to my eye, it almost fades out on the sort of extreme tips to almost a silvery colour. And again, that sort of matched up with the porcelain aspect that you're speaking of. And the more you describe it there, and it sort of sprang to mind as you were saying it, that it reminded me of an Elizabethan ruff almost, the way it has this sort of collar of rippled flowers. And again, it's sort of, you think of those, the grand paintings of like Sir Queen Elizabeth and things, and that big sort of ruff around the neck, and that's almost what this peony is doing. You're
right. I can imagine that. So when does this peony flower in general?
It's an early to mid-season peony. I mean, as we've discussed before, the peony season's not hugely long, but it's you could class it as an early to mid-season.
Yeah, and I'd imagine for such a beautiful peony and new species, you would put in the center of the garden without many other flowers to go with it.
I think anything else would, I mean, everybody's got their own taste at the end of the day, but I think in this situation, I would go for other very sort of subtle, smaller flowers. You know, might be things like geranium Derek Cook, which is a lovely sort of pink with sort of dark veinings on the petals, or with some, you know, lovely soft grasses and some umbels, and make it very, very sort of romantic. I mean, like I said before, almost a cottagey style, but without the intense colours. I think you really want to let that blush pink speak for itself.
Yeah, I can imagine. What you described just put me into a Jane Austen's novel, and in that very English scene, and but in a very majestic but humble at the same time. Yeah, that's where I want to live. Maybe that's a new painting coming up.
Yeah, it's that quintessential British spring, you know, with the blackbirds chirping in the background, and the bees buzzing around the last of the spring flowers, and sitting on the stone patio with a cup of tea and just enjoying the sun, that sort of thing, which is a far off thoughts going as we go into autumn, but yes.
Okay, let's finish this. I'm going to have a cup of tea in my garden, imagining it's spring and I have so many blushing princess around me.
And one giant blushing princess in the middle.
Thank you. And I'll see you in the next episode.
Look forward to it.